Welcome back to the news at 10. Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Gloria Umezuke. Gloria.
Hello, Joma. The trial of former National Security Advisor, retired Col Col Dasuki, over alleged criminal diversion of funds meant for arms procurement has been stalled for the second time in 2 days. The trial was stalled yesterday following the failure of the Department of State Services to produce the accused in court. Angered at the same reason given for Col Dasuki's absence in the FCT High Court today, the judge warned the DSS against taking the matter lightly and then adjourned the case to July the 11th and 12th. Mr. Dasuki was arrested on December 1st, 2015 and is currently facing multiple charges in different cases.
Can you explain to us?
Well, that's the information I was given, that he's indisposed and he said he cannot come to court today, that he's not feeling well, so that the matter be adjourned. So that is the information I received and I pass it to the court. Yes.
So, but is the prosecution actually ready to prosecute this case?
We are ready, but we can't force the accused person, the defendant, to come to court. You cannot force him to come to court. You have seen all those antics that have been playing out since the beginning of this case. You can't force him. If you force him, it's going to be another problem. So we are ready. I came with my witnesses. I'm going back home with those witnesses without giving their evidence. We are ready.
I think they are as perplexed as we are about what is happening. And I described it as an interdepartmental issue. We don't know what it is. We don't want to speculate. But I think it only highlights the powerlessness of the court to produce him or to order his production. Since the court didn't detain him, it cannot say reproduce him. So we are completely at the mercy of the prosecution.
But Justice John Soho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has adjourned the trial of Supreme Court Justice Sylvester Nguta to May the 25th and 26th. The adjournment followed a request by the prosecution counsel for time to enable her present as evidence the proceeds of the search conducted in the residence of Justice Nguta on October 7, 2016. The prosecutor, Mrs. Olufemi Fatunde, had arrived at the court with the evidence after the adjournment had been announced. The federal government yesterday amended the corruption charges it filed against Justice Nguta before the court, making it the third time they would be amended since they were filed in December 2016. Meanwhile, the defendant has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Justice Nguta is being tried for money laundering and concealment of various sums of money in local and foreign currencies. Well, ahead of the November 18 governorship election in Anambra, some top politicians from the state have endorsed Governor Willie Obiano for a second term in office. One of them, Dr. Okechukwu Odunze, who addressed the news conference at Abuja, asked Anambra people to allow Governor Obiano to continue the good works he has started. Dr. Odunze says the governor's achievements in the last 4 years have transformed Anambra State into a safe haven full of positive developmental projects.
In a matter of months, the people of Anambra State will be going to the polls to elect their governor. A political stalwart from the state, Dr. Okechukwu Odunze, is galvanizing support for Governor Willie Obiano to continue for another 4 years in office. With a success story in security, revenue generation, agriculture, road construction and other development projects, Dr. Okechukwu Odunze says he is convinced that there is no better candidate than Governor Obiano.
Our IGR of the state, which was less than 500 million before his administration, as a result of illegal activity of the certain elements, have now grown to over 1.3 billion.
Without mincing words, Dr. Okechukwu declares his position on the November 18, 2017 governorship election.
They say he's working, and I say he is providing a Western leadership never seen in my state or anywhere else in Nigeria. Because of the above reasons, and the lofty ideas of the leadership quality which Governor Obiano has established in Anambra State, my humble self, my group, and our allied groups, who cut across all political parties in the state, decided to throw our weight to Governor. Governor's second winning of election.
Clearly, it can be said that the good works of Mr. Obiano as the governor of Anambra State is speaking for him as indigents living outside the state, particularly in Abuja, Lagos and other parts of the country, are enjoined to return home ahead of the election.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. We go over now to Melinda Akinlami for business news.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks, Gloria. Welcome to Business News. Oxfam International has said that the combined wealth of 5 richest Nigerians, put at $29.9 billion, could end extreme poverty in the country. The statement is contained in the Equality Report released on Wednesday, where Oxfam says the benefits of Nigeria's economic growth is in the hands of a few at the expense of the man on the streets. The report indicates that 69% of Nigerians in the northeast now live below the poverty line, compared to 49% in the southwest, stressing that economic equality is the main reason for the conflict in the northeast region. Nigeria's refineries processed 10 million barrels of crude oil in the first quarter of the year, and that's higher than the 9 million barrels produced in the 2015 calendar. The production was successful as a result of interventions in the South oil producing region through dialogue with militants, which reduced the tax on oil facilities. Last year's militancy cut crude output by over 50%, producing only 24 million barrels. According to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, the 10 million barrels seen in the first quarter equates to 111,000 barrels per day of the refinery's capacity. In the meantime, petroleum product supply to the northern part of the country has received a boost as the NNPC recommissioned its Kano depot, which was destroyed years ago by pipeline vandals. The management believes the recommissioning will restore supply and distribution for the benefit of Nigerians, in line with the presidential mandate to revamp national oil assets.
Today's recommissioning of the strategic NNPC Kano depot is one of the several strides embarked upon by the corporation under its 12 business focus areas, with the aim of revamping NNPC assets in order to reposition the corporation towards an upward trajectory of sustained profitability. Efforts are also underway to recommission the remaining parts of the System 2D's pipeline system, which will take products from Kaduna to Jos, Kaduna to Suleja and Mina, Kaduna to Gusau via Zaria. Thus, very soon, Jos, Gombe, Suleja and Gusau depots will experience the impact of our collective resolve to get these critical infrastructures back on stream.
For the second consecutive trading session this week, the all-share index of the Nigerian stock market closed in the green, gaining on bellwether stocks. Chimeze Obiwagu has more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Bullish sentiment continued at the equities market this Wednesday as the market saw most investors that exited at the beginning of the week make a comeback, thanks to the FX windows for foreign portfolio investors, exporters and positive economic numbers. The midweek trading recorded gains in all the sectors but for the industrial goods sector that closed flat. The all-share index finished in the green, up by 1.05% to close at almost 28,000 mark. The market capitalization also went up at 9.6 trillion naira. Investors traded more on the shares of Axis Bank, GT Bank and Law Union, making them the top trades of the day. The volume of shares traded came to about 371 million, valued at 3.49 billion naira in 3,910 deals. Although Nestle recorded the highest price today, Owando gained more in percentage, placing it top on the gainers table, while May and Baker and Linkage Assurance followed apiece. Still by percentage movement, CNI Leasing, Law Union and Livestock Feeds topped the losers table as indicated on the slide here. And that was the stock market report. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwago. Following the political crisis in Washington, volatility returned in the global markets coming after extended weeks of calm. These are some of the midweek figures. And that's Business News. Thank you so much for being a part of it. It's back to you, Ijoma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks, Melinda. Now, shareholders of Medview Airline PLC have approved the carrier's 2016 financial statement, in which the airline also declared a 3 kobo per share dividend. The approval was given at the first post-listing annual general meeting, where the managing director of the airline, Munir Bankole, says there are plans to acquire more aircraft to expand its network. Shareholders also approved a capital-raising exercise through an initial public offering at a later date.
Publicly quoted companies are required by law to hold a yearly meeting, and that's exactly what's happening here, as shareholders and the board of directors of Medview Airline PLC gather to review the past financial year.
The issue here, which you know, is so enormous in terms of forex, in terms of maintenance, in terms of operating challenges, as you know. Fuel, which have been the major factor, which got over 30-40% of the operational costs. Today, we are appealing to the government. 1 or 2 of our local refineries should be allowed to produce Jet A1.
The business climate may have been tough, but the airline's revenue increased to 25.96 billion naira in 2016, while profit after tax moved to 840 million naira, a performance that earns shareholders a 3 kobo dividend.
I hereby move that the dividend of 3 kobo per share in respect of the year ended December 31st, 2016 be paid to all shareholders registered in the book of the company as at close of business on 5th of May 2017.
It's a decision that goes well with shareholders.
You could see from the financial statements that when they started with from Hajj operation, they were progressing from Hajj operation, inroads into domestic operation, from there to regional operation, then to international operation.
I really commend them for paying this 3 kobo, and they are the first airline of paying dividend. They just come some months ago to the public as public liability company, and they declare dividend.
The occasion also saw the re-election of retiring directors as well as members of the audit committee.
Thank you. God bless you. A round of applause, please.
With an initial public offering in the works, the airline also has a new injection of 50 million naira and a planned acquisition of 3 aircraft to boost its route expansion plan.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria forward Isaac's successors club side Watford confirmed exit of Italian coach Walter Mazzarri at the end of the season. That's coming up on Sports. Please stay with us.